So, sorry this got split up into two videos because, well, frankly, I'm an idiot and I must have bumped something or whatever, so. Whatever. Alright, so, up next is this Husky 14 and 1, whatever, gimmicky ass thing. I needed a 5 and 1, because I don't know, I lost one of the 754 bazillion that I had owned. And I was at the store and I saw that for like $5. Actually picked up two of them and gave one to a buddy. This thing's actually really nice. I've never used a screwdriver end or whatever. I just really like the handle. And you know, the other stuff has come in handy, I guess, in certain situations. But most of the time, you know, I don't need the hex thing on there. I got plenty of sockets and stuff, whatever. So, whatever. It sells. What do we got? This doesn't actually belong in here. We talked about that before. I don't know how that ended up in there. There's some cobalt wrenches. This is actually standard and metric. This was nice. This, I really like, you know, the presentation here. They're a little bit longer than, I would say, your standard. Obviously, I like the labeling. Quick little funny story. Now that I made it into two videos, I was working on something at work, and it was on top of this proofer, which is probably like, I don't know, 6.5 feet high. Nothing major, but it butted up right against this wall. It has a water line that goes in because, you know, the humidity helps with the waking up of the yeast or whatever and the rise, whatever. Long story short, it was leaking, so I was swapping out the line. I was taking the thing off, and I don't own flare nut wrenches, not that I really needed it, but so I left my tools on the floor, obviously, and I was working on it, and I said, hey man, you know, you mind throwing me the 13 millimeter? And now, when I say you mind throwing me the 13 millimeter, I mean, could you hand me it? You never throw tools. You don't throw tools, you don't throw knives. Whatever. So, he picked it up and he threw it. And I wasn't expecting him to throw it, so he threw it way the fuck over my head. It wasn't even close, in my opinion. And it hit the wall and went back. And I've tried several times. I haven't gotten that 13 millimeter back yet. However, I went out and bought a new one. And I will be there the day that we move that proofer, and I will get that fucking tool back. I promise you that. That was a cool little story. So, that was fun. Staple gun. Rivet gun. Tekton ball peen hammer. This is a rip hammer. I couldn't think of the name. I don't know why I couldn't think of the name. Like I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I am fried. I've been working a lot lately. Tekton screwdrivers. These are the only two I own. I bought these because whenever I go to like buy a set of something or whatever, blah blah blah, if I can do it, I'll buy a smaller version. But I can't tell you how much I love these handles. No, everybody says it. I understand it. I'm 155 pounds on a soaking wet, day, and maybe 5'8" if I'm feeling tall. But my hands are kind of big. And, in a situation, for me, wow, look at what I just did. That's cool. You can't beat that. They're awesome. They're awesome with those handles. These are the pass-through sockets. For the cobalt ratchet, I have enough ratchets and all that kind of shit that most of the time I don't need that. But the pass-through thing is actually nice. Comes in handy. It's a little bag with the, you know, extensions, adapters, or whatever for the thing. And I don't, you know, like I said, if I'm going to a side job or whatever, between these and the pass-throughs, if I don't have my ratchet box, I can generally get by. So that's nothing too crazy. Excuse me. Husky knife. I actually like this little design. I carried it at work for a while. I use these box cutter style things to open up the bags of flour and a lot of other things. Don't tell the I'm just kidding. But I carried this one for a long time. It's got a lot of weight to it. And I didn't really like, I mean, I like how you can kind of snap it out like that. But if your hand slips or goes a different way, you're releasing the blade. Not like the Cobalt ones, which are designed a little differently. So let me turn this around so I can see what the hell I'm grabbing at. I know, I'm sorry, the quality of my videos is not great, but I'm going to work on that too, I promise. A 3 and a 6-inch level. These Empire levels are badass. I don't really think I'd buy anything else if I had the option. This is one of those, you know, comes with the entertainment center or the wall mounting thing. It was just something I don't, you know, I don't feel quite right throwing that away, no matter how cheap it would be, but I also don't put a whole lot of faith in it. You know what these are. You know what they do. And the needle nose version. So that's that, guys. I gotta fucking put all this back together, but also in my car I keep a stroller, an extra change of clothes, a blanket, an extra pair of shoes, probably some other shit. In the wintertime I throw a shovel in there, brush, whatever, some fluids. That's another thing that, you know, like, you know, the bins in my car are constantly growing or whatever. So that's pretty much what I drive around with in a nutshell. I know I don't need it all. I know it's a waste of gas. I know it's a waste of space. I don't care. I'd rather have it and need it, or have it and not need it, than need it and not have it. And in my opinion, there's nothing worse than having to leave a job or stop, go to the hardware store, go back to my house if I'm at work, or if I'm on 95 trying to help somebody, well, you know, like a family member or something, because if I'm on 95 and I'm trying to help somebody, a stranger, no offense, but if I don't have it with me, you know, there's only so much I can do. I'm not going to drive home and come back. Unless you're right around the corner or something, but whatever. So, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm sorry for rambling, and I promise I'm going to work on the quality of my shit. I might not. But I do appreciate all you guys, and, well, like I said, I'm sorry to bother you.